What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Jeffo coming at you with another video, and I'm going to come to you with a very important message to anybody that's trying to achieve your goals. This right here is universal. You need to do this to be able to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. When I was younger, I would always try to find the quickest way, the fastest way to get to what I need to get to. If I had to put the least amount of work, if I had to find a way to, cheat a little bit, I would do that. But what ended up happening is, because we are true creatures of habit, we do that with everything that we're doing in life, right? We try to repeat that same thing that gave us success. And what gave us success is not always the right way. It's not always the best way for the long run, right? So in the long run, it ended up biting me in the butt. Now it came to a point where I was forced to put in the work, where people were like, nah, I'm not going to give you the answers anymore, or I couldn't find the easiest way to do it, and I had to sit there and do the work. It was very painful. I will tell you this, in the midst of it is very, very painful. Not only is it painful because of the sheer fatigue that it takes to get to where you need to get to, but it's also the not knowing whether it's going to work, right? When you're actually putting in the work, you hope it's going to work. You believe it's going to work, but you don't know in the long run unless you do it and it ends up working, right? So you're in the grind, right? You're working for years and years and years. This is with anything that you're doing. You're doing this for years and years and years. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to say a test. Studying for a test, a final exam that's worth a lot on your grade. Meaning, failing it will be detrimental. Like, it's going to literally, you're going to fail. Like, you have to pass. So you ended up back against the wall, and now you have to study. Studying, not knowing whether this is going to be the winning thing or whether it's gonna, be all for nothing, right? So put in the work, put in the hours. You get to the test, and the test looks easy. You're answering the questions. It looks a little bit too easy now. Like you're now you're cautious. Now you're like, no, hold on, let me take my time and make sure that this can't be the same test that I was taking when I was younger, or same things when I used to have final exams. And now I'm actually breaking the actual cycle of failing, or the anxiety. You're actually getting into the test and it's becoming easy. This is the importance of putting in the work, because what ends up happening is God is not going to give you anything for just nothing. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time, the effort, the fatigue, the sweat, the tears, and all that, right? And through that, you learn ways to be more efficient. You don't no longer have to cheat. You now find your own system. You now find your own patterns, right? You now find your own way to galvanize success, right? And with that, it's like gives you this sense of confidence, because now you've put in the work. You're starting to see that actually putting in the work is how you actually get success in the long run. Sometimes what's going to happen is the work is going to take a while to actually manifest. It's going to take a long time before it actually catches up. And that's normally how it goes. It's not like a linear thing where it's just like as soon as you start studying you're going to see success. No, it takes time. You have to show that you are worth it. And this is why you put in the time, you put in the work, you put in the effort. That way, when you do achieve what you need to achieve, you've understood the amount of effort that is taken, right? You understand the amount of fatigue and stuff like that it takes to get to where you need to get to. And then you also find ways to be more efficient in it. You find ways to repeat it, right? You find patterns, you find concepts, you find things that are actually going to help you in the long run, because putting in work is universal. I think I said this in the beginning of the video, but putting in work is universal. Once you figure out how to put in work, you can use it with anything. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be very similar, because the same thing that one field does is not the same thing that the other field does, but you understand that the effort is very similar. The effort is very similar, especially in the beginning, because you have to put a lot. You can't just work like 1 or 2 hours and expect to be an expert at it. Anything of worth is going to take you a long time to do it, and that's what it teaches you. It teaches you anything that you are trying to achieve that is of worth is going to take time to achieve. And you don't want to just achieve it. You want to maintain. And the way that you maintain is through time, right? You want to maintain through time. You want your longevity to be long, then you have to put in the time and the effort in the beginning. And with that, you can start tapering down. But if you are one of them, if you are actually trying to achieve greatness and greatness and greatness, you're actually going to double down on it, right? Because you become efficient in what you're trying to do. You want to become even more efficient. You want to become even more better. You want to become even more competent in whatever you're trying to do. And that way, there leaves no doubt for failure. There leaves no room for failure. There leaves no doubt in your mind that when you walk into the place that you can actually dominate. And this is through time, this is through effort, this is through repetition, this is through fatigue, this is through all the stuff that we just mentioned, right? You don't want the easiest way, because the easiest way, one, you don't know how it works, right? You have to know why it works, how it works, how to repeat it. You know what I mean? And the only way that you can do that is by putting in the work yourself and figuring it out through the process, the grind. When you fall and you fail and you figure out a way to, let's say you're down bad, right? And you figure out a way to climb yourself out. That climbing yourself out shows you that you're capable of actually getting to whatever you need to get to, because going backwards and being able to go get whatever you're trying to get is actually like one of the biggest cheat codes in life, because it shows that, one, you're capable of doing it, but it shows to yourself that you are able to put in the work and you're able to come back from stuff. And you're making small wins, and the small wins are within yourself, right? Not only are other people going to see it, but your subconscious is going to see it. You're going to notice it. You're going to be like, okay, now I know I need to get to. You're going to be proud of yourself. You're going to be able to push yourself when you are tired, when you are fatigued, when you are burning out, knowing that this is part of it, right? And you got to just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Don't go for the easy the way. You may not see success early. You may see other people getting to what they need to get to. They may have put in the work more than you have, is why they're getting success at this moment. Sometimes it's luck, but luck doesn't always last. You know what I mean? So put in the work, focus on yourself. Go through the trials and tribulations, the sleepless nights, the whatever you need to get to. That right there is how you keep, not only gain momentum, but keep momentum and gain wins.